channel. I'm Mr. Sensible. Get yourself comfy. Let's see what we've got today. We have Mr. Word. Oh, Phuket is Word again. Before we have a look at him, a big thanks to my patrons. Thanks to my amazing and supportive patrons, including new patrons Andrew Smith, Chris Kelling, David Cooley, Gary Tompkins, John Bunker, Poison Toad, Sisyphus and Touchpad. Thank you all very, very much. Thanks as always, patrons. You're wonderful. And now, Mr. Phuket Word. Waffling.
Alrighty.
Oh, sorted now, Nick. Those cameras can be a bitch, can't they? Come on then. Tell us what you're going to tell us.
Hello, flat earth researchers, debaters and debunkers.
Hello, Nick.
Just, it's quite funny, isn't it? You know, when you just, people ask you what kind of proofs you have of being on a level stationary earth. Well, look at this. You know, we have some lovely flat water right in front of us.
Nick, it's not funny when people ask for evidence. You're making a claim. Back it up. And a pool of water, very pretty though it is not going to show a curve that you can see.
And a sunset going on over there. And of course, some people would have us believe that the sun is setting because the earth is rotating.
Yeah, Nick, that will be people who have seen the evidence, can visualise in 3D. And have you taken your meds?
Which, when you think about it, it is so ridiculous, because just imagine if you suddenly tipped this pool of water and, you know, just, or a bath or anything, you know, just imagine if it was all suddenly tipping to make the sunset. What a mess it would be. What an absolute mess.
Nick, I cannot believe you just said that. Is it a case that you really, really, really do not understand that very, very basic part of reality? Or are you a Poe? I can't believe anyone can fail to understand this.
You know, but you have these people proclaiming to know that the sun sets because the earth is moving and spinning. Oh dear, you know.
Nick, do we really have to resort to this? Here is your pool of water. We'll forget any curve or flat, but there's your pool of water. You're saying that if the earth turns, it'll all pour out. Where exactly is down? You think down is down there. It's not. Down is that way, that way, that way, to the centre. So there's no reason for that water to go anywhere other than to try and go into the ball, which it can't, so it stays in your pool. Come on. You do know this, don't you, Nick?
It's quite hilarious, but it's very sad. It's very sad at the same time that, for the most part, you can't even approach this subject without ridicule. And of course, that's what we see. Widespread ridicule of this. All these flat earth debunking channels, what have they got? Have they got science?
Yes, Nick, science and evidence. It's a shame about the ridicule, but when someone absolutely refuses to look at, understand or accept the bleeding obvious when presented with cast iron 100% evidence of something, eventually people are going to take the mickey out of them.
Very basic, simple stuff. They want to make it confusing.
Nick, it's not confusing. Everything goes to the middle from any direction. There is no up, there is no down. There's towards the centre of the earth, away from the centre of the earth. It's not confusing. If you're confused by that, I suggest you send any teaspoons back to the shop, because I'm sure they'll be way too complicated for you to use.
And I think they know. I think we all know instinctively that when it comes to this subject, we have to lie. We have to create this obfuscation to keep the lie alive.
I'm not trying to misrepresent what you're saying, Nick. I'm not trying to edit you to say something you really didn't. But it does sound like you're saying that you are lying. All I can say is that from the globe side, we're not lying. You have the evidence. Debunk the evidence, you knock the theory. But you guys can't. So are you lying? Is that what you're saying?
Here in Phuket, it will be dark fairly shortly. But of course, I think in the UK, it's never actually going to go overhead, is it? It's never going to be, I mean, even when it's at its zenith, it will be, I don't know, what would you call it? It would be kind of at least 10 or so degrees down from overhead, right?
Yeah, in the UK, the sun would never be 90 degrees overhead because of the tilt of the globe.
Oh, while I'm here, I should show you this. Oh, let me just come outside here. This is a school. This is an international school here that I've come to pick up my daughter.
Well, Nick, I really hope your daughter's doing well in the school. Perhaps you should join as well and ask them about some basic physics.
Oops. Look at that. What do you think of that?
I think it's a very nice logo, Nick.
Yeah? No Antarctica, of course.
No, Nick. No Antarctica. It's not supposed to be an accurate representation of the world. It's a logo. Can you see the Maldives on there? Are the Falkland Islands on there? Nick, get a grip. It's a logo.
Yeah? So it's nice, and this is a nice little scale model to work off and think about. Yeah? I like what they've done there.
I like what they've done as well, but it's not a scale model. If you took that as your map, cut it out, you've got an 8 shape on it, or infinity shape on its side. How does that equate to a circular flat plane?
In fact, what I was thinking about, it's funny, isn't it, really? Of course, no one can ever come up with a proper map if no one can ever actually explore the whole place. I mean,
Yes, Nick, we have hundreds of maps, different projection maps, maps made by cartographers, maps taken from images on satellites. You just don't accept them.
what's the point there in coming up with a map? I mean, how can anyone lay any claim to know the true shape and dimensions of the entire Earth if no one's ever been all around it? So anyone that makes that claim is talking out their rear end, for sure.
Nick, people have been all around the world. There are explorers who have circumnavigated, pole to pole even. We've been everywhere, Nick.
Now, what I was going to say, oh yeah, it's funny, isn't it, really? When you think about it, the globe is a flat Earth perspective model. That's what the globe is. The globe model is a flat Earth perspective model.
I actually have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm putting together a video at the moment which kind of explains this and will hopefully demonstrate where this 23.5 degree or 23.4 degrees comes from and where it's missing.
Okay, Nick, we'll look forward to that one.
You know, looking at some of, I still wonder if some of these deniers, whether they really do struggle with this ability to
finish a sentence?
To be clear, when you try to
Spit it out, man.
explain or ascertain eye level, something very, very simple, eye level.
Yes, eye level, Nick. It is something very simple, and it's something you don't seem to grasp. Eye level is the level of your eyes. That's all.
To the obfuscation and the confusion that gets created or that they pretend to have. I think, again, you know, they instinctively know, but then they pretend to be all confused and they pretend not to get it. So, you know, all of a sudden they play dumb. You know, they claim to be smart, and us, you know, us truth seekers are dummies and haven't got a clue. But when it comes to actually trying to explain stuff, they play dumb.
No, Nick, I think it's you that doesn't understand. If this is my eye level and I'm looking straight forward, that's in line with the bottom of my cheese award on the wall. If I go up higher, you would tend to keep looking down towards it, so it's still in your centre of vision. And you think that the horizon, the bottom of that picture, has risen to eye level. It hasn't. Your eyes are tilted down. What would actually happen, eye level, if you go up, you're now looking above the bottom of that picture, above the horizon. And that's demonstrated with those experiments with looped tube with levels, looking across. At sea level, it lines up with the horizon. You go up a mountain, it's above the horizon. That's the level of your eye height.
So anyway, look, I gotta go. It's been great, and short but sweet. Sorry we didn't get to see the sunset, but just consider this. If the Earth was moving, this body of water wouldn't be a stationary flat body of water.
Yes, it would. What would make it slop around? Everything's moving in the same constant speed. No sloppage.
Yeah, the sun sets because it's going away. Just as aircraft move across the sky and go away from us. It's the simplest explanation is the truest one.
No, Nick, if the sun was just going away, it would get smaller and its apparent movement across the sky would slow. It doesn't, it stays at a constant 15 degrees per hour and it stays the same size apart from any atmospheric distortions. And the simplest explanations are not always the correct one. The simplest explanation is flicking a light switch makes light. There's something called electricity, but that's not part of that simplest explanation.
Look at that lovely reflection in the water. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's beautiful. All right, so anyway, I love you and leave you. Thanks for joining me, and we'll catch up again soon. Okay, take care, y'all.
You take care too, partner.
Shut up and sit down.